Welcome to Conversations with Dr. Brett Brimhall. I'm Eileen Whipple. Let's get started and ask Dr. Brett questions that we all have about health and wellness so we can be well, get well, and stay well.
So, Dr. Brett Brimhall, this is Eileen Whipple, and we both kind of have an obsession and kind of a passion, not really because we want people to be healthy, but we want to help people understand what healthy is. Like we were just having this conversation about her daughter went to a facility to kind of her next part of life as she gets to learn to integrate in society. And she was having a conversation with their people about the importance of health and nutrition and many people out there that actually don't have a degree should have a degree. And Eileen's one of those. She's been to more positions and taken more classes and probably studied more things than most physicians. She didn't get a degree for it, but she studied more than most people because of her own health and her family health. So our goal in creating some of these things that we're going to create with you right now is to give you information that will hopefully empower you, give you insights, inspiration, hopefully save you a lot of time and struggles that we've both been through. And so we want to give you a little bit of idea of who we are first, and then we'll just kind of go through some things. So I've been in clinical practice for 20 plus years. I've taught and trained physicians with my dad since 1995. He's a physician as well, a chiropractor. I've been a nutritional formulator since the 70s. And so my background is really unique in that regard. And really what makes us unique is we have a system called the 6 Steps to Wellness, which is just that, is helping people understand how to get well and stay well and understanding the cause of the problem. And that's kind of how I met Eileen. She referred to me. So kind of just give them a little background on you, Eileen, and who you are and, kind of what your journeys look like.
Hey, I'm Eileen. And 25 years ago, I didn't even give health even a thought. I just thought you just live life and everything turns out great, right? But I was very shocked when, after I had my third baby, I started having health issues. And it became this roller coaster. And I grew up in the 80s where we were told to just put on your pants and get dressed every day and pretend nothing's wrong. So I did that until 5 years in when I went bedridden. And I could not get my kids to school and I could not even drive the car at times. It led me down this path of trying to find solutions medically. And then when I couldn't find answers medically, I went natural. And so it's just been this whole process. And my youngest daughter, she was diagnosed with autism eventually, but that's been the whole journey. So I traveled all over the United States looking for answers. I wanted to have my quality of life back. And that took a lot more than just taking supplements or something. It took emotional work. It took
Detox therapy,
detoxing. It took changing my lifestyle,
medical medicine, eating different foods.
Yeah, it really, my lifestyle. I don't call it a diet, it's a lifestyle. Yeah. And so that's where we are today. And my daughter has been able to go to an autistic college. That's what we're calling it. Cool. And so they're going to help her learn how to be independent. But she never would have been in this place had we not done everything we've done up until this point. Now she's 25.
It's fun to, it's super fun to watch. And I'm going to kind of spin on something she said. She said autism, that what you'll hear out there is autism spectrum, right? Because it's a wide range. Like you have this name of autism, but like there's a huge spectrum, like super severe to very mild, right? So why? And what can you do to improve the functioning of who you are and what potential you might have? And I know with her daughter specifically, like the capacity which she is today, we really didn't dream was possible. And it was a result of some removing obstacles in her way, finding new ways to help her body and mind heal in ways we didn't know were possible, and then put her in positions to learn. And even an uncomfortable thing where now she is now living in another state, but getting her with the right people to take her to the next level. And so this will be quite a journey. We want to talk a lot of fun things for you, but we hope and I promise you that there's things you'll learn here that you wish you had 10, 20, 30 years ago, depending on how old you are. And it's not because we're unique and different in that sense, is that we learned differently because of the things that we all experienced. And when it's you or a mom, you don't take no for an answer. Like you don't take this is the best is an answer from you. And so she's done that. And so I want to kind of help you kind of understand what you can do. Always know you have a capacity to be more, do more, and sometimes you have to need different tools, different people, different insights, and this will speed up your time frame drastically. And it's then your choice whether or not you want to use some of the things we talk about.
Excellent. So some of the things that I never thought I'd partner with you as a business partner.
Yeah, right.
But it's awesome because the relationship that we have, and I want you to please share with people. So I get questions of why would I even need to take anything to supplement my life?
Yeah.
I should be able to eat food and eat well, and I'm going to be okay.
Yeah, I know, and wouldn't that be great, right? And so two things, like just so you know, the American diet is called the Standard American Diet, abbreviated as SAD. So when it comes to school, we know there's an average, right? And so an average is C, and a C doesn't mean you're excelled, right? C does not mean you excelled, and you can actually pass class with a D minus, right? So the Standard American Diet will give you the standard American lifestyle. So if you're not functioning the way you want to, you might want to be ideal. And so if you do what everybody else does, you'll probably get what the results everybody else does. But the majority of people do the average. Okay. And unfortunately, with some individuals, they have to work harder than somebody else. So it's really important to understand the rules, right? So if you're doing addition or subtraction, like there are specific rules to the laws that govern mathematics. Unfortunately, most people don't understand the rules of what food does to you, or sleep, or what we put on our body, or what we put in our body. So one of the big reasons why people need to supplement is because if you just for challenge, go ahead and write down everything you eat over the next 2 weeks. And then according to just the standard American diet, you should be eating between 5 and 7 servings of fruits and vegetables a day. And guys, most of those should be raw. And I have a high suspicion that maybe 5% of us would be able to answer. We get 5 to 7 servings of fruits and vegetables a day, and the majority of those being raw. It just doesn't happen.
And what about having to be organic, or do you want to go down that path?
Yeah, absolutely. So when you talk about supplementing, people talk about supplements, and somebody has to supplementing a deficiency. All right. So there's a difference between a deficiency, right, and then an optimal level. Okay. Let's just take, for instance, vitamin D. So for instance, a lot of our food's fortified. All right. So they fortified our grains, right? So your breads have fortified like nutrients added into it. They fortify the milk. What that means is they're putting like vitamins or minerals in these foods because they know we're not in the optimal deficient state. Okay. So vitamin D is one of the measures you can measure on labs really, really simply. The range is 20 to 100. Okay. That's the range. So if your doctor calls you back, say, hey, your labs are normal, and it's 21, guess what? You're normal. Okay. But if you want optimal functioning for vitamin D, which is also a hormone, it needs to be around 85. So 21 is vastly different than 85. And you may have symptoms of tiredness and lethargy and just a lack of focus and bone health issues because you don't have vitamin D. And you go back to this idea of organic. So what does organic mean? Organic means it's just the practices somebody uses and how they plant the foods. So, and there are different standards of what that means. So let me kind of use a bad example, but it's kind of a good example. If I say, like, I want a hamburger, I have a lot of options. Yes. Like I have a lot of, I go to McDonald's, like I can make my own, like I can go to like Outback, there's a lot of ways. So if I take hamburger, like that's a combination of wild game and then grass-fed beef. Like that's my hamburger. If I'm going to make it, I'm going to use a combination of some wild game, maybe elk or deer, combine it with some grass-fed beef, and that would be my hamburger. Okay. So if you get a hamburger from McDonald's or Jack in the Box or those, guess what? That's not the same thing. So whatever you eat is the only material your body has to make you. Okay. So if you're having organic, you're likely to have more vitamins and minerals actually in the soil that get into the plant that get into you. But if you're just getting a food that's not the same thing. So my wife loves to garden. So if I can, like this morning, I picked a strawberry off her garden. Well, that strawberry is born in, grown in very specific soil. She puts other nutrients into it, waters it. She probably stings to it. I don't know. Right. But I pick it off the plant, I eat it. Right. It's ready to be eaten. So it's fully ripe. It's had nutrients up until that time. And you get a strawberry from, somewhere else, and it's probably mass produced, maybe in Mexico or in Arizona, maybe in California, who knows. So it has to be picked a little early. It has to be shipped. It has to be, stuff added to it so it doesn't decay too fast. So, herbicides or pesticides, and then your body has to deal with that. So that's a very different experience. So the reason why I supplement, even though I try to eat good, is I know I need other nutrients that aren't there.
Mm.
So when you guys pass a field and you watch a field of crops that's been grown on the same crops that have been grown on the same field over and over again, there's no nutrients left in that soil. And there's just things called trace minerals. Those are your like magnesium and zinc and potassium that should be in the ground. They go into the plant, but they don't add that back into the soil every year.
So if I could share, where my daughter used to work, it was called True Garden,
Yeah.
and they grow this healthy food. And she brought home some lettuce from there, and I made my normal size salad. I could only eat half of it, and I wasn't hungry an hour afterwards. And I've been buying organic salad from Costco for years,
Yep.
and I couldn't. I was shocked, actually, to tell you the truth, how filling it was and how long it lasted with me.
Yeah.
So there is a difference.
It's a drastic difference. So that's the density, right? That's the density of the nutrients in that food. And part of the reason why we don't feel full as Americans very often, we eat a lot of very nutrient poor foods. Like if you take a Cheez-It, right, or a fishy cracker or saltine cracker, like what is that? Like it's not much. And so you can just eat those like a whole bag of them and not really feel full. There's no nutrients to those.
Gotcha. Thank you for joining us with Conversations with Dr. Bert Brimhall. If you have any questions, get back with the person who shared this video with you. And if not, if you found it on your own, please get in touch with one of us. We are excited for you to be able to get your questions answered. So if you have any that you want answered, please let us know. And be well, get well, and stay well. And see you next time on Conversations with Dr. Bert Brimhall.